So the Green Lantern is gay. Which kinda makes sense considering I haven't seen another superhero movie that sucked so much ass. It sucked more ass than a Hoover in a donkey factory. It sucked more ass than the final sequence of a human centipede. It sucked more ass than DC Comics, who came out and announced that while the Green Lantern is gay, he's only gay in an alternate universe. Really, DC? Really? An alternate universe where your superheroes are gay? Is this the same alternate universe where your Colt and bourbon are the alcoholic drink of choice? Because this shit is delicious. If we're considering the ambiguous sexuality of DC superheroes, then Green Lantern isn't even your biggest closet case. I mean, what about the Riddler? He looks like Sharon Needles' drag mother. And Wonder Woman, who looks like she spends her downtime as the winger for a local Gaelic football team. Gaelic for a reason. And Hawkman, I mean, his superpower is hawks. There's not an alternate universe where these superheroes happen to be gay. DC Comics are more like an alternate universe where these gay characters also happen to be superheroes. And while LGBT individuals are increasingly accepted here in modern society, there is this disturbing conservative undercurrent that's currently rallying against gay culture. The linchpin at the heart of this issue is marriage equality. Marriage equality is such a divisive issue because it requires two distinct counterpoints to be addressed before any sort of outcome can really be achieved. The first is that all people share the same equal right to commit to another as their loving partner for the duration of this life. This is the whole marriage as a basic human right contingent. This is the sort of foundation on which Judeo-Christian marriage was built. Well, that and the transfer of livestock, but nothing moves a herd of cattle like a good old-fashioned Christian wedding. No one can argue the core tenet of marriage. That's the easy part. Not even Satan had questioned that. Because if he did, Mrs. Satan would be pissed. When Mrs. Satan gets pissed, Satan has to sleep on the old couch, the lumpy one that smells like dog farts. And you always wake up with a crook in the back. There's no fun sentencing people to an eternity of fiery damnation if you're like, down I smite thee, on my back, I've done my back. I've done my back. Oh. See, when it comes to marriage equality, what people do argue about is how the ceremony of marriage is interpreted and enforced by different groups. For instance, in a religious context, marriage is defined as being between a man and a woman. Corinthians 7 verse 3, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. Beyonce, Single Ladies, Chorus 1, if you like it then should have put a ring on it. If you like it then should have put a ring on it. So in Australia, the vast number of practicing religions that we have, each have their own unique definitions on marriage. And that's fine, because that's primarily applicable directly to their congregation. But don't you think it's a little funny that while they all agree that man plus woman equals marriage, they can't all agree on the same God? When two people get married in Australia, they're legally bound under the Commonwealth of Australia's Marriage Act. And that's a very important point to raise. Because beyond the rice throwing and toaster gifting that happens at most weddings, once you're married here in Australia, that marriage is legally recognised internationally as well. And when it comes to international recognition, it's where federally mandated marriage equality trumps state-mandated civil unions hands down every time. While you may have civilly unionised same-sex couples here in Queensland, if they go to WA, their shit becomes de facto. Or, when travelling internationally, they go from being de facto to just two old dudes sharing a hotel room in Phuket. The lacking international accreditation of civilly unionised couples, paired with a growing distrust of the conservative right not to revoke these privileges, has soured both myself and many like-minded people on the idea of civil unions. We don't want sparkling white wine. We want champagne. The best method for overcoming the LGBT discrimination currently practiced in Australia is to simply amend the Marriage Act to allow for marriage equality. From marriage means the union between a man and a woman to marriage means the union between two people. From 4 words down to 2. It's like a 100% increase in governmental efficiency. Should run for Parliament. And while I hope the church in Australia would display the same goodwill, love, and respect towards their fellow man that they preach from their scripture in allowing same-sex couples to become married in their institutions. You could take solace in knowing that if the church refused to recognise your love, the Commonwealth of Australia has your back. And that's what this argument all boils down to. Marriage is the recognition of two people's love and commitment to each other in the eyes of the Commonwealth first. Everything else is just a distant second. How can we as Australians keep our head held high and call ourselves a world leader while we allow such a fundamental discrimination to affect a growing number of our citizens? So, as a treat, we had the guys in the effects department create this little device. What this does is it allows us to see a computer-generated version of Australia after we've allowed marriage equality. If the church is right, there's going to be doomsday, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be like... It's really kind of quite... I haven't seen this yet, so this is really quite exciting. Here we go. Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's me. Look, I got up to the, yeah, I pressed it and nothing seems to happen. It's just, yeah, no, I pressed it like a bunch of times and it's not doing anything. I'm not seeing any change. The only thing I'm seeing is I've been invited to a number of weddings and they look fabulous. Taking positive action to overcome discrimination and facilitate marriage equality is something that all Australians should celebrate together. God knows, we're not going to be celebrating after the Olympic Games.